All right. Well, hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live with Christy Hillock from CJ Card Creations. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I am really, really glad that you're here this evening, or whether you're, if you're catching me on the replay, I'm really glad for that as well. Just going to, nope, we're good there. Okay, just making sure I have sound because I messed that up a couple weeks ago. Hey Janie, thanks for being here and letting me know that I'm in the right spot. So it's good to see you. All right. Well, I just have a couple of things. I'll put links for all of these in the description of this video after I finish. So I have a class scheduled July 11th. That's an in-person class at my house. And there will be a link to my calendar to register for that. Hey, Mom. And I've got, let's see. I'll put up a link for my new email. Hey, Julie, glad you're here. For my new email service. So you want to go over and sign up there because that is where I'm going to be putting all of the dimensions for the cards that I make on Thursday nights. And let's see, tomorrow's the deadline for the Pick of the Crop paper pumpkin. That one makes 9 cards and it's kind of a summer fruit harvest theme, I guess. Also has some vellum, so that'll be fun. And then the new mini catalog is coming out. I've sent them to those of you who have ordered in the last 6 months. If you don't get one, let me know and I will get another one over to you. But I've gotten some of the new products and it's going to be fun. There's a lot of good stuff coming. I will be doing a paper share and a ribbon share for that. So watch for those. I'm not sure which email I'll send that out in, but that will be coming in. That those product shares, you just get a little bit of everything instead of having to sort of pick and choose which things you can get. And I always think it's nice to see just little bits because there are some papers that I just don't think look very exciting until I see them in person. So that is coming. And then next Monday, I'm going to actually flip the camera if I can figure out what I'm doing here. Next Monday is the deadline for my class kit to go. And we are using the Bottled Happiness bundle. And it is this. So the bundle includes the stamps and the punch for a 10% discount off of just the regular price. So with those, I have combined the Sun Prince Designer Series paper to make 4 beautiful cards. And this card class includes between $20 and $25 of product and 8 cards and a PDF. So that is always a fun kit that I put together for you. And otherwise, let's see, got a couple of other things coming. So I started working today on doing the class to go for July. So I think that's going to be a fun one too. So keep an eye out for that. All right. And I think that's it. So I am going to go ahead and show you a couple of other things. Oh, with that Bottled Happiness, I also had made these samples to show off the new in colors. And I just think that this punch is awesome. You can do so many things with it. And these stamps are from the kit as well, or from the stamp set as well. So that's that. Okay. Now, what else can I tell you? I think that's really just about it. I'm just going to adjust the light here so it's a little better for actually stamping. And so this is the card that we're going to make. And so what I wanted to focus on this week, my June series is all about masking. And as long as you put in an order of $35 or more using the host code that I'll put in the description of this video, then you receive kits to make 3 cards. I'm trying to find, I swear, I try really hard to be so organized and it still just doesn't happen. So last week we made this one using the butterflies and flowers layering masks. So you'll get the supplies to make this, and the card from next week. And like I said, that's with a $35 order using that particular host code. So we use the, I don't know, they're like plastic or something masks last week. So today what I wanted to do is bring in Stampin' Up's new masking paper. So it comes in this pack of 12 sheets. They're 5x7 in size and they die cut beautifully. So I'm going to show you how to use that tonight. That I use to make this negative space where I then stamped. So I have a couple of other samples using the same technique. So this is the masculine version. I use the He's All That stamps and the All That dies. And then the paper is, yeah, there's no telling what that paper is. I'm sure I could figure it out, but it's not coming to me right now. And then my other flowery version was this one, and I used the New Horizons paper and some Forever Fern dies or Flourishing Ferns, or I just can't keep all the names straight. And this little die is from the Succulents set. So anyway, just some fun colors, different sort of look, but all the same technique. So, and Janie, thank you for sharing. And Mom, I really appreciate that. When you share, I enter you for a drawing, and I was at a baseball game and did not get the drawing done tonight. So next week I'll have 2 winners. So just make sure that you hit that share button and then come back and comment in the video comments that you shared so that I know, because I can't always tell. So let's just get going here. I have done a lot of the cutting ahead of time because you guys don't want to watch me run a big shot every week or cut and emboss or whatever. So I just have a standard card base here. This is actually from the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. I'm not even sure you can get this anymore, but I still have enough to send out kits for you. So I thought it's Petal Pink and Calypso Coral, and it's just so pretty. So we are going to use this on here, and the blue side is gorgeous too, but can only pick one. It's really quite challenging. So get some glue on there and adhere it to the card base. So today I went ahead and made the DSP layer be the full card size rather than a matted size. So there is that. We can set that aside. I also have 3 strips of Designer Series paper, and these are from the Pretty Patterns, and I actually just took 1 sheet and used both sides of it. So those are going to go just kind of right in the center. Got to decide which way I want them oriented here. So baseball game, super fun. Jonah's one of the oldest kids on his team this year, and they have come, so some of these kids had never even done t-ball, but they have learned so much in just 1 practice and 2 games, and it was really cute to watch them all. They get so excited when they hit the ball and then kind of stand there like, oh wait, what do I do now? And then they take off. So it was good times, but it was like 95 degrees and sunny, and so I was really glad to get back in the house. And oh, hey Ellie, glad to see you. I totally just did that on the wrong side, I think. Maybe not. Doesn't really matter anyway. So yeah, we just play, and Emily's got a little friend at the game, so that's a lot of fun. And Jonah finished basketball camp. This is the first week of summer, and I'm already over it, so pray for me. I hope it gets better, but when we're not dashing all around getting him places, he is picking on his sister, and I just can barely take it. So, all right, so that is my little designer series paper stuff. Now I have a stitched rectangle that I cut earlier from Basic White. And then I took a, let's see, the Beautiful Shapes dies that were in the spring mini catalog and carried over. So I took one of the hexagons in the masking paper, and you can see there was a seam, so I can peel off the backing and get rid of that. Now this stuff is super sticky, and I don't know if you can tell. Yep, a little bit. It actually peeled up the paper. This was the first card that I used it on. So what I discovered is that if you take it and put it on the back of your hand and then peel it off, then you can put it on your cardstock and it won't tear it all up. So we are going to get that on there now. And I am going to bring in another piece of grid paper because I don't want to get the clean one all grimy. And I'm going to bring in my Petal Pink ink pad. Yeah, when I first used it, I was actually really kind of frustrated that it shredded the paper like that. And I had watched a training and, obviously I was able to still make it work. But it just seemed like it shouldn't be quite that challenging. And then I remembered that in the training, they had actually mentioned that you do need to, take off a little bit of the sticky. So I'm just using my blender brush here to add some ink to this rectangle, and I don't want it to be real uniform. So I am actually going to try to get most of the ink right around that masking paper, and then the rest of it will just kind of bleed out. So, and again, when I pick up ink, then I do take off just that very first part so that I can try not to have like blobby bits, I guess is the best way to say that. So hopefully I'm not shaking things too badly. I'm going to go up just a little bit there, and I think we're going to call that good. So not too much technique to that blending, but there's, a few nuances that are nice to know. So now that we have this, we are going to peel off. Hey, Aunt Pat, thanks for being here. We're going to peel off this masking paper. And you can probably get 2 or 3 uses out of one piece. So if you wanted to make several cards at once, you would be able to do that with just one mask, which is always nice. So as you can see, we have just this beautiful white space now, and that is where I want to stamp. So I'm going to bring in my Lucky You stamp set. This one is retiring at the end of June. Everything that is on that retiring list is while supplies last. So if there's anything that you hadn't already gotten, make sure that you head over and get that. I'm trying to decide which one I want. I did Hooray for You, and I'm thinking that Many Thanks will fit in there now. So let's get this mounted onto my block. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this is not terribly straight no matter what I do. So this is my Coastal Cabana ink. It's confusing. Coastal Cabana and Calypso Coral. It's very easy to use the wrong name. Everything is alliteration, which is fine to a point, but it does get a little bit challenging. I'm just going to test stamp that. Obviously, right on the black part wasn't brilliant, but I think that looks like it's inking well. So, no, it's really not that bad, Janie. Just like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because the Lucky You stamps are pretty fluid anyway. So we've got that on there. And the rest of it is just really quick and simple assembly. So I die cut from Coastal Cabana a coneflower from the Harvest dies. And then I cut one in Calypso Coral cardstock as well. And you can see I went off the edge of the paper because I knew I didn't want the stem. But however much stem you have, you're just going to trim off so that it looks like just the petal. So now we can adhere that right on top, and that way you get more of a semblance of a real flower, as far as, you know, not all the same color. So just get a little bit of glue on here, and I really am not terribly concerned with getting it all in each of those points, but you certainly can as long as you have a light touch when you're squeezing that glue. This would also be a place where you could use one of the adhesive sheets, and then it would just turn that right into a sticker and be really easy to adhere. So now that we've got that, I don't want to cover my stamp, so I'm just kind of eyeballing where it's going to go, because I don't really want to put glue, you know, where it'll just drip. So I think something along these lines should work. I know, I really love the Harvest dies, and they came out last fall, and I was so glad that they have carried over because there's just so much you can do with them, and they are beautiful. So we've got that on there now. Oh, and I still got glue off the edge, but that's okay. Now we are going to pop this onto the card with dimensionals. And just gonna put one in the center. The Harvest dies actually also have a die that looks kind of like coral to me. So I might have to try to incorporate that with something else that I'm working on right now. So we will just center this up over our Designer Series paper strips. I don't know if that is straight. Everything I've done today has been just a little crooked, so who knows? I don't think that's something the eye doctor can test for either. Crooked vision? It's probably not a thing. Okay, so there's that. And then the last thing that I want to do is just add a few pearls. We have these iridescent pearls. I can't remember if I've shown them before or not. So this sheet is just the regular pearls. And I'm glad you like it. Blame the kids for my crooked vision. Yeah, I can blame them for pretty much everything. So you can see it's subtle, the sheen. Hopefully you can see. I don't know. Things like this don't pick up very well. But the regular pearls are just a little different. So the iridescent ones offer just a little bit more fun. Regular pearls are so classic, but I think in this case we will enjoy some shimmer. Get my putty situated here, and then we're just going to pick up, I think, a big one there and there, and we can do just a little one maybe up here. Yep, I think that'll do it. Crooked mess. Yes, I'm glad it's not just me. I hope that anyone who receives my cards knows that I did try. It's fine. They are loved by receiving a card. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that is really, for a fun, flashy technique, it was really quick and easy. So I hope you enjoyed that. And you can see how even just different pieces of the same sheet of Designer Series paper can really change the colors and the appearance of it. So, Julie, neither are yours. So we can just feel not perfect together. That's it, you guys. I hope that you love these. And if you have any questions or if you want a little bit more explanation of that masking paper, feel free to ask me. I'm always happy to help. And then we will actually use that masking paper again next week. So I hope that you are looking forward to that. And I think that's everything. So you guys have a lovely evening. Enjoy the sunshine that's probably still out there. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.